Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to another episode of Mondays at Microsoft. We are coming to you live. Yeah. All those people. Oh my goodness. We are here at the Microsoft 365 conference in Orlando, and we're so excited to bring you news and events from across the Microsoft world, modern work, Power Platform, and of course, AI. I'm Kara Wanagatimu. I run the Microsoft 365 Customer Advocacy Group, and I'm here with my awesome friend. And no, we did not exchange notes about our outfits. It just happened.
We mind melded. Yes, I'm Heather Cook. Hello, everyone. I'm a principal PM on the Microsoft Customer Advocacy team as well. Thrilled to be here with all of you.
I know, this is really great.
So
really
awesome. Yay.
Wherever you're watching, whether you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, we're going to put the links to everything we talk about in the description, in the post. So you'll have all of the content that'll be available to you of everything we talk about in this show.
Big rocks.
Big rocks.
Ready
There's so much going on.
There's a lot.
Everybody realizes that's why we started this show, right? Is because we couldn't keep up with everything that was happening in Microsoft. And so we do this research. We figured if we couldn't keep up with it, then maybe neither could anyone else. So what is the big rock this time?
Well, we have some cool stuff happening with Microsoft for Startups. So we have a lot of AI startups, as you can imagine, entering the marketplace. And so which ones are right for your business? So we, Microsoft, have put together a program to match up your business with some of these AI startups. So any enterprise can check this out. It's called the Pegasus Customer Community that is open, and you can join it today. You can get exclusive access to programs, resources, and pre-vetted enterprise-ready AI startup solutions. And so you can get matched up. And it's a pretty cool program to see what's going on and all these folks who are getting into the marketplace. So that is the big rock in the startup land.
So much innovation that is happening in that startup space, but also in education. And our new report is out about AI in education. We really encourage you to check this out, especially if you happen to be in that space. There's productivity, creativity, and AI really is going to transform the student and learning experience. So take a look at our AI in education report so you can get up to date on all of the research and findings that we have in that area.
Yeah, and all of these reports always have those great data factoids and numbers that you need to prove things, right? So great things to go get and bring into your discussions with your management and your teams. So,
absolutely. Well, now we're going to hop into the product segment, and there's always so much going on in this space. And this time we have a whole new acronym. Like I hadn't heard it before, just saying I hadn't heard it for everybody to understand. But we have released from Microsoft Research 5.3. And that is an SLM, a small language model. And this new acronym, which the really cool people probably had heard about, but I hadn't.
I didn't either.
We didn't know what it was, so we had to look it up. An SLM, though, is really important because it's a smaller language model that can be trained on less data, and it uses less memory and processing power. So when you think about the future of AI showing up on your mobile device, having a tutor for every student around the world, these SLMs are really important. So we released ours. It's called 5.3. And, I saw this great video on YouTube also of someone who tested it against the other SLMs from other suppliers. And our answer was not only right, but very verbose and had lots of information included in it. So really exciting. You want to check this out. Love these people coming in the room.
More folks are coming in the room.
Hi.
Come on in. Yay.
That's right. Energy from the M365 conference. We're super excited.
Oh, and one cool thing about that too, we talked about that, the article about this, one of the PMs from Microsoft really did a lot of work on this because of conversations he was having while reading children's books to his daughter. And so it is AI, but these things are coming from humans, in a human place.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of anxiety still about AI out in the marketplace, but I think that the more that we make this connection to the human stories and the good that we can do with this, the better off we're all going to be. And I know you have more on that with another story.
Absolutely, I do. We have it's called Connect Humanity. So that is a nonprofit. They're an impact investor. They announced this last week. They're collaborating with Microsoft to support high-speed internet access and adoption in underserved Appalachian communities. So the Microsoft Airband initiative, not hairband, but Airband. Thank you.
Trying to make it a little fun for y'all here.
I could have really rocked it out, but then I've been a mess, and we'd have had to stop.
You would have flown your glasses, would have flown off, and that would have been crazy.
Anyway, Microsoft Airband initiative collaborates across private, public, nonprofit sectors to build digital infrastructure for internet access and adoption in many different connected communities. So Connect Humanity is doing infrastructure with Airband, but also they're pulling together a diverse group of capital partners, including community development financial institutions, banks, impact investors, and foundations to meet this need. So very cool program, very cool partnership, bringing digital capabilities, out in places that don't have them. So definitely check that out as well. It's a really neat story. So.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we don't increase the digital divide, that we bring people together. So that's an important part of Microsoft's overall strategy also. But then we're going to hop into the product piece now, because there's always so much going on in product. And this is one of my favorite things, though, because I don't know how many of you out there use dark mode, but I am a dark mode person. Dark mode doesn't always show up across all of our products, but it's really good, especially if you're trying to reduce eye strain. Many of us look at computers for a very long time every day, and dark mode can really help. That's kind of the understatement of the century. That's why she's laughing. She knows how long I look at a computer. So dark mode has finally arrived in Viva Connections, and you can just go up into settings and go into accessibility and appearance and be able to make that change right there.
That's great.
So yay to the Viva Connections team.
Yeah, thank you, Viva Connections.
Viva Connections. Thank you. I want to make sure that you do that. All these things are so important, but what's near and dear to my heart? User enablement. That is a new term for adoption. User enablement creates user satisfaction. And we are excited to announce the user enablement for Microsoft 365 Copilot course is now available. That is MS4007. And I can't thank enough the entire team of folks who worked on this course. It represents the evolution of our Microsoft 365 adoption framework into the Microsoft 365 user enablement framework. You're going to start seeing this across all of our products soon. We started with Copilot because we needed to evolve that. And you can go out there and take that course and get that badge. And I think you should. Even if you're really hard on the technology side, like deep as an IT pro or developer or builder, the user enablement components help you understand how people will actually react to the solutions that you build and how you can make sure people are using your great work. So go and check it out.
That good speak between your marketing teams, your human resources team, all of that stuff. So those are those great words and language that come from looking at user enablement and having that understanding. So it's awesome.
And I'm excited to just have that new framework go across Power Platform and Microsoft Viva, and with our friends over in the Cloud Adoption Framework as well, that talks about AI as a capability. So we're getting it together. There's a one Microsoft thing happening there.
Hey.
I
know. the crowd went wild.
Yeah, they did.
All right. Well, we're gonna hop into business applications. Product news. And so we've got some general availability of the Power Platform Advisor. So for those who are new, Power Platform Advisor was introduced at Ignite last year, but now it's generally available. We do that a lot, right? We'll announce something, we'll do a private preview or a public preview, and then we go to GA, right? So we're now in GA. So it's a guide for personalized recommendations to optimize your Power Platform tenant, which is pretty amazing. So it looks at all your resources in managed environments. It looks at your tenant, and then it talks to you about security, operational efficiency, hygiene, and overall health. So that's really exciting for those of you who are in the Power Platform world. We also have, this is so awesome. So public preview release. So how I just went through that. So this is the public preview of a licensing dashboard and consumption reports for the GCC and the GCCH. So
GCC High, gotta
them.
love that. Releasing to GCC and GCC High at the same time, that is worthy of noting. That is something that folks in those environments, our government friends, and public sector have been asking for a long time. So I'm really excited. And look, anything that helps with licensing is super important because you need a PhD to understand Microsoft licensing. We understand that. I do not have one of those, so I use these tools to help me understand what's supposed to go where.
Absolutely. So this is a licensing dashboard and consumption report. So that's pretty cool. Very exciting to see that come out. Also, we've got the Dynamics 365 release wave one. So Power Platform does releases twice a year, April and October. We just went through the business application launch event. So we talked about it last week, but there's more rolling out. There's tons of videos, tons of content. So you haven't checked that out yet. Lori Lampkin, who is over on the customer experiences side of the Dynamics 365 house, has a great blog, lots of great videos and stuff. So definitely check that out. And then also a shout out to our Fabric community leads. We have Jason and Ree and Kelly and all the folks over there that we work with all the time, cross community. They just had their FabCon, which was their Fabric community conference. And so that keynote is available up on YouTube. Other sessions are coming up that were recorded as well. So a shout out to them for a great conference and also their content being up and ready and available for folks, which is pretty cool. We also have, this was just a shout out, actually. So yes, so so a shout out. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you, one who came for this, but also we wanted to just say thank you to the Microsoft MVPs, the regional directors, user group leaders, super users, community producers, all of you who are always, just volunteering time, sharing with each other, content creators, those of you who are making videos and blogs and TikToks and all of that cool stuff, although that'll be interesting soon. But anyway, just doing all of that social media and everything, just to thank you for what you do every day. Thank you to everybody who's here this week, especially doing all the volunteering for Ask the Experts and the community lounge just outside, and just doing all the great work that everybody does on a volunteer basis, outside their day jobs. So just a big thank you, really, truly, everybody for that. So,
Huge thank you. Yes, let's give a shout out.
Yeah. Awesome. And then, I also, since they're in the room, I was going to say Lori Popmeyer and Kara Burgess are both raise your hand, Kara, Lori. So they are MVP. They do many things as part of the team for MCAG, but they work with our MVPs directly. And so if you're an MVP, you've been working with them for a long time, especially Lori in this space. So just a big shout out to you for what you do. That's awesome. So
it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Well, you and I are both products of the community. We wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for all those things. We were once as people volunteering our time, with our day jobs, and now we get to do this. So I'm really grateful to the people who still do it.
Same.
And so I have been on the road for a couple of weeks now. This is the fourth conference in 2 weeks. And I thought I'd share with all of you some of the things that I learned while I was out there, besides the fact that airport lines are still long. And I still don't like taking my shoes off. I don't know. I just don't like that. So basically, I went to the Imagination in Action AI Symposium at MIT in Boston. I went to Comsverse in Denver, which was spectacular. And I also went to the CMX Summit in Redwood City, which is the largest gathering of professional community managers in the world. And there were three themes that I really took away from these three events I wanted everybody to think of. First off, people are really still struggling with how to land business value with AI, right? This is a journey. And I think that it's not just a technical journey or a journey of user enablement, but there's a leadership journey as well. Like, how do you as a leader talk about this? And this isn't about the person who's at the very tip top of your organization. This is about leading at every level. And you can follow that hashtag. And we've published a new page, ak.ms/LEAI, leading in the era of AI, to bring together content to help all of us figure out, how do we talk about this? How do we really lead our teams through this transformation? Like, this is all new to us now, but it's just like the cloud or the web or PCs, in any reality, this is going to become so ubiquitous. So we all need to think about, how is this going to affect our career, right? What are we going to do next, and how are we going to help people? So that page is out there for you so that you can start to think about this. And then, energy is also high, but I mentioned it earlier, there's still a lot of nervousness. And I think it's because people need to understand more of those use cases. So I'm going to call your attention back to our scenario library, right? That scenario library is there so that you can get inspiration about not only how to measure business value, but the kinds of ways that you can use AI in your own organization, in IT, in HR, in marketing, right? These are concrete examples that our customers have used and gotten a lot of value from. So make sure you go and check that out.
And there's a paper up there came out of Microsoft Advertising,
Mhm.
right? One of
Yes.
the PMs over there. And that's
Yes.
all about prompt engineering.
Inclusive
And-
prompting
and-
by
yeah.
MJ DePalma.
Thank you. Yeah, MJ DePalma. Yeah, that I finally got a chance to read that. That's super cool, y'all. It's a really neat article on inclusive prompting and also just prompting in general, but it's
Mhm.
come out of a lot of research, and they're brilliant.
They
too.
did great work. She did
Yeah.
amazing work on that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic because what you put in governs what comes out of those AI experiences. And so
right.
you really have to think about how you phrase those things. It's really important.
Mhm. Yeah.
And there was one other thing too that I
Mhm.
really noticed at all of these conferences that I went to, including the one at MIT, which is community is now really being included in the conversation as part of the voice of customer work stream. And I encourage all of you, stop talking about the ROI you get from community and ask your leadership, how important is the voice of our customer and of our super users? Because that's usually who's in your product community. And I was really happy to see that there was so much energy on that. I got to meet, we both spoke at CMX Summit before, but the virtual one, but this is the first time I got to go in person, and the energy of all those community managers from all around the world was fantastic. So I'm happy to finally see that
That's
that
super
shift.
cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to CMX. If those of you who are community managers who work, behind the scenes on community, if you haven't checked out CMX Hub, it's awesome.
Yeah,
and
you should.
They have you can join. They have a newsletter. They have classes. They have all kinds of stuff. It's a great event as well.
Local chapters, so you can meet other community managers in your area. Because before there was this amazing thing called MCAG, I was all by myself, right? And then Lori joined, and then we got to come together, and then more people. But a lot of folks work alone in this community kind of initiative. So it's a great opportunity to meet other people who are doing things like you.
Yeah, and I really like the conversations that are there. Also, speaking of ROI or value or impact, right? So I think the framing of impact and value of community is super important. And there's a lot of talk about, I don't know who coined the term exactly, but as we're talking about MQLs, like a marketing qualified lead, or an SQL, a sales qualified lead, there's been talk about a CQL, a community qualified lead, right? Meaning that somebody has joined your community, they're actively participating, they're a rabid fan, they love, and they participate in many different ways. You can do this kind of stuff, or you can answer questions in our forums. What up, super users, who do that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that CQL is something you can take back to your leadership and say, hey, you know what, we're, not to make it all about money, but, businesses need what? Revenue to keep going, right? And to pay for programs that they're doing. So I love the thinking about, like, how do you have a CQL of people participating in your community, and how does that equate to impact and value, and not just millions of people showed up to this, or, like, I like the numbers. Don't get me wrong. I'm competitive. I'm from the Midwest. I was a softball player, but
just saying.
And like, I will get you at Galaga, okay, all day long. But like, I do love the conversation, not just about the numbers, right? Bigger, best, better, all that stuff, but also what's the value, what's the impact? How are we expanding people's careers, engagement, all of that.
Totally.
So anyway,
100%.
sorry, my soapbox I'm getting off of. There we go.
It's important though.
Yeah.
You gotta lead through this.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the human connection that community offers is going to be a fantastic counterbalance to everything we're doing in AI. It's really important to bring them together.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. And I think that's the light that got shined on community platforms as well, especially during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic. I think, all of us are like, how do we, that's where Teams, really exploded and went bananas as well. The engineering that I watched when I was working with you in the beginning of that was unbelievable. That Microsoft Teams, it's like, hey, we got to take this stuff from physical to digital. Let's go. Yeah. I mean, that was the phone call that I got.
Yeah. What's the phone call? Help. Actually, she's being really nice. It was help, please help me. Yeah, that was the phone call.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's exciting to see that shift, but also a look at these platforms that we have. And that's some other things that we've been working a lot on too, is with the other community leads at Microsoft. I was talking about Ree and Jason and Kelly, over in the Fabric community. We've got Wim and Ryan over in Power Platform. We've got Christian over in Windows. We've got folks that we work with internally in a council and we talk about this stuff. We're talking about the tools, the technology, the platforms. Can we get together, a little bit more on some of this stuff,
Well, and hence MGCI, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which we're going to talk about.
Totally. Yeah. So that was born out of that conversation. Microsoft Global Community Initiative, MGCI. Yay.
Absolutely.
On cue. I was like, I should have put an applause thing in here.
I know, right?
But
You didn't even need that.
I know.
Because you were awesome. Totally into it.
Like,
That's
we
amazing.
got you. So yeah, but that was really born out of thinking about how could we come together more, how could we provide more value and all of that. And so I really appreciate that partnership. And now I get to be a partner even closer in my new role on the team, which I'm really super excited about. But it's cool because communitydays.org, was built from, a community member, Tom Daly, who's an MVP, who was like,
shout out Tom.
Yeah, Tom Daly and all the folks who worked on that, just really trying to make sure that there was a spot for people to list their events. And anybody, communitydays.org, is that yay? Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And if you're holding an event out there and it's not listed on communitydays.org, go and do it now. Because not only does that share that with the entire community, but it also shares it inside Microsoft.
Yep.
And we've heard your feedback. Sometimes the most important thing that can happen is that Microsoft people be more organized about your event and that we're aware of it. And so this site is a way that we help other Microsoft people understand the importance of community and where they can plug in wherever they are around the world. So make sure that you go there. It's really easy to submit your event. You have to have a few fields of information. If you have any questions, we'll definitely help you. But it's an important thing. And now, we have so many events. There's so many events that are happening.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now, go through some of those.
Yeah, we've got a bunch going on here. So, and a shout out to Tiffany Lee on the team, who's been really great, doing a great job of running that, and Brian Hart in the background as well. And since they're in the room too, I want to give a shout out to Jesse, who's here from our team, who does all the adoption.microsoft.com stuff. That's Jesse, everybody.
Boom, there. There you have it.
Yeah, I'm going to continue shout outs because we're in the room and why not? And we're live. Yay!
I know, right? Exactly.
Josh Liberati is right over here, who handles so much of our the
all the
solutions.
Team's Emergency Operations Center.
Yeah.
And let's not forget,
I got
in the back over there, Mark Cashman, handling all of our social. If you see a cool picture on Twitter, X, LinkedIn, or pretty much anywhere else, it probably came from Mark.
Yes, yeah, definitely one to follow on the Twitterati and other places for sure. So, anywho, so shout out, thank you for letting me do that for a minute. But let me shout out all of these events. And I'm like, it's like I've been practicing the legalese at the end. You're like, but I'm not going to do that. But I could because it's so much. But it's amazing. So we had Modern Endpoint Managed Summit happen in Ile-de-France, D365 UG in Stockholm, Color Cloud in Hamburg, which I think is the first one of that. And there was so much social around that. So congrats y'all on that show. Very cool. Minnesota M365 Biannual Spring in Minnesota, Collab Days Utah happened, AMS Apit in Tahiti.
Why didn't I get you into that one?
I know.
Nobody's sending me to Tahiti.
We
There's
need to have
a problem.
board
Houston.
meeting there
There's
for
a problem.
sure. Yeah.
I want to go there.
BizApps Palooza in Toronto. There was a Dynamics 365 Summit in Lisbon, Portugal, AMS Nemea in New Caledonia. V Comes Next, which we talked about a little bit. But again, shout out to those folks there. That was such a great event. And just that's like teams all day long from a long time.
Yeah,
right?
for a long time, but also devices. Meeting rooms, all of the things that you can do to evolve the meeting experience and calling experience in your organization. What was cool was this year, Ron Pesner from Microsoft Loop came and really talked about how Microsoft Loop can improve the meeting experience. They're doing so much cool stuff over there. It's really fantastic. So,
that's great.
And of course, I talked about know your fundamentals, know how to set up your meetings well, understand webinars, get the fundamentals, then add Loop and AI and all the other cool things you can do at the meeting experience. But big shout out to those organizers. They're lovely humans, had a great time there. Denver's an awesome town and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Lori was there too.
Yes, she was. Yeah, we took the place by storm.
Which is awesome. Let's see, we had a couple other, Dynaway Connect also happened in Greenville. Coming up, we've got the European Collaboration Summit in Viva in Germany.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
That's going to be so much fun. So, I think, aren't they almost sold out with their tickets?
Yep.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and they're over a decade old too.
Yeah.
Like that's been around such a long time, and it's a combo European Collab and European Cloud for the first time together in May. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Dynamics Con Live in Denver, which is going to be an awesome show. We've got tons of folks coming from the Microsoft Power Platform and Dynamics teams for that. Dynamic Minds coming up in Portoroz, Slovenia. That is an awesome. These two shows, Dynamics Con Live and Dynamic Minds. So Dynamics Con Live, they do a whole like superhero theming, and then Dynamic Minds does like a whole witches and wizards and stuff. So I love the fun
costumes for these
well,
shows.
hi, yes,
I know, right?
I know.
That's
I
cool.
was like,
I'm
okay,
into
so
that.
yeah, super fun. And then TechCon 365 PowerCon is coming up in June, and there's a huge contingent of us that'll be there because it is in Seattle, close to Redmond. So there'll be a lot of Microsoft folks there.
That's gonna be great.
And the European Power Platform Conference coming up in Belgium. So tons of stuff going on and more community days. I literally looked this morning, and so because I get to see all of the submissions as well with our team, and so like we had another like 8 submissions this morning of community days type events. And so
great.
A shout out to the Collab Days folks in Europe, the Experts Live folks, the AMS folks. So there's tons of pockets of contingents of places around the world that are getting together and doing these events, and then they're all feeding them into the communitydays.org site, which is just so cool to have that one place to go.
And here's the thing, it's free training. It's free training. And that's what we all need right now. Like, this is a moment where you can continue to transform your career. If you don't like what you're doing, lean in, because now's the time where you can completely change what you're doing. We've had these moments before. I always talk about it, but the community is a place you're going to build the skills to do what you want in your career, right? And you can get fluent in the conversation around AI and landing business value. You can get fluent with Microsoft 365 and Power Platform and all the other cool tools, right? If you're not having fun right now, figure out why and come and join one of these free events. Come and find us, and we will help you have fun for sure.
For sure.
Because that's ultimately what this is about too. It needs to be rewarding. Like, we all spend a lot of time at work. You need to get meaning from that. It needs to feel good, and create that sort of balance in your life.
Absolutely. And that belonging too, right? Belonging something bigger than yourself, right? I mean, that's what community is all about at the end in the heart, right?
Yeah.
Right, folks?
Yeah,
Woo, woo.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so cool.
Let's give another shout out. We've got a couple of other live events happening this week. So we've got community calls. So our other partner in crime is Vesa, who everybody knows Vesa from Jehovah's, from the sort of the patterns and practices dev platform Microsoft 365 community. So he's going to be right back here in this room. So if you want to see the live shows for the M365 and Power Platform call, there's one on Tuesday. I believe that's in the morning at about at 11
11 here. It's 8 Pacific, I believe, just
Pacific.
like us.
Yes,
exactly.
So that one's here, but back here in this room. And so that'll be live. And there's a bunch of great folks. I believe it's Kathy Dio and Fabian. And I'm trying to think of the list right out. I didn't write it down. But anyway, but it's going to be here, so you can check that out. And then the Viva Connections and SharePoint call is coming in here on Thursday, same thing. So if you want to check those out, be in a live audience situation again, you can come check those out, and you can see everybody here, which would be super fun. We're doing a lot of great stuff with Vesa and that team, doing a lot of coordination, again, cross community with Power Platform, with Viva Connections, with Fabric and all of that. So we're continuing to pull together like community calls and samples and patterns and practices and all of this stuff with the MGCI. We're going to continue to just bring things together under more sort of one auspices as far as our YouTube channels and our LinkedIn and all of that stuff too. So we're working hard on all of that. So that it's easier to find, and also just so that you can get to it and, pop it on your calendar or click that link to go live.
Because if you can't find it, it's no fun. So the more that we can bring it together, that was all to say, adoptionmicrosoft.com community. Go there, you'll find everything you need. But we're doing work on that still. And that is really the point, right? Is bringing everyone together across Microsoft for the benefit of our customer experience. That is so true. I'm just really grateful to be here. I'm super happy to be here in person. I love Orlando. I love the M365 conference. Huge shout out to the crew in the room who made this all happen. Again, thank you so much, everyone. You've done an amazing job. It takes a village to bring the show to all of you. We really appreciate everyone who's in the room and who's watching online. This is super awesome. I'm kind of living out a childhood dream, getting to be like a newscaster. I always really wanted to do this. I really did. Like, you think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding at all. This
I
is
love
like a
it.
total childhood dream. So this is fantastic. We will be back with you on May 13th at the same time on our channels, and we'll be talking to you all about what's going to be coming with Microsoft Build, which is coming up in May as well. And we'll have more fun announcements from across the Microsoft ecosystem to keep you up to date. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Mondays at Microsoft signing off from Orlando. Thank you to our live audience. Thank you so much. And we will see you all soon. Bye. Bye.